Top 10 Creepy Signals from Space. Space is big and dark, and since there is no air, no one can hear you scream as you float away forever and ever and ever. Soaring to the depths of our universe, gallant spacecraft roam the cosmos, snapping images of celestial wonders. Some spacecraft have instruments capable of capturing radio emissions. When scientists convert these to sound waves, the results are eerie to hear. Smart is the New Sexy prepared a list of 10 creepiest signals ever got from space. Number 10. 234 stars. Scientists have heard hugely unusual messages from deep in space that they think are coming from aliens. A new analysis of strange modulations in a tiny set of stars appears to indicate that it could be coming from extraterrestrial intelligence that is looking to alert us to their existence. The new study reports the finding of specific modulations in just 234 out of the 2.5 million stars that have been observed during a survey of the sky. The work found that a tiny fraction of them seem to be behaving strangely. And there appears to be no obvious explanation for what is going on, leaving the scientists behind the paper to conclude that the messages are coming from aliens. Number 9. Plasma waves. NASA compares these electromagnetic waves to ocean surf. They create a rhythmic cacophony that has been recorded on several NASA missions. When lightning strikes the ground, the electrical discharge produces a specific kind of plasma wave called a Whistler wave. It might sound like the universe is dropping the bass, but NASA actually likens these waves to bumper cars, which bounce between the magnetic fields at Earth's north and south poles. Whistler waves, which travel inside the plasma sphere, a thin layer of cold, dense plasma that surrounds Earth, produce a so-called plasmapheric hiss, which sounds a lot like radio station static. Number 8. Juno, crossing Jupiter's bow shock. Juno captures the roar of Jupiter, where NASA's Juno spacecraft crossed the boundary of Jupiter's magnanimous magnetic field. On June 24th, 2016, the aircraft's instrument recorded the encounter with the bow shock over the course of about 2 hours, according to the website. Another sound resembling roaring ocean surf, the plasma waves, was recorded with the Emphasis instrument aboard NASA's Van Allen probes. The sound creates a rhythmic cacophony across space. Sounds of a comet encounter were recorded during a comet flyby in February 14, 2011, when an instrument on the protective shield on NASA's Stardust spacecraft was pelted by dust particles and small rock. Number 7. The WOW signal. A signal received by a SETI telescope in 1977 may be the best evidence yet for extraterrestrial intelligence. Narrowband radio signal was detected by Jerry R. Amon while working at the Big Ear Radio Telescope in Ohio. The signal lasted 37 seconds and was shot to Earth from one of the emptiest places imaginable in the local space neighborhood. In those days, such information was run through an IBM 1130 mainframe computer and printed on perforated paper and then laboriously examined by hand. The tedium was shattered when Amon spotted something surprising, a vertical column with the alphanumerical sequence 6EQUJ5, which had occurred at 10:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He grabbed a red pen and circled the sequence. In the margin, wrote, "Wow! OM1. Ohio State University researchers picked up a signal coming from nearly 220 million light years away that was so powerful, it was named the WOW signal. Scientists are still baffled as to how a signal so strong could come from so far away without the use of advanced technology. Number 6. Sounds from Saturn. On April 26, NASA's Cassini spacecraft shot between Saturn and its innermost ring, going where no human-made object has gone before. According to new audio files released by NASA, The 1,500-mile wide gap between Saturn and its distinctive rings actually sounds pretty hair-raising. While basically all the planets emit radio waves, none is quite as creepy or unsettling as those radiating from Saturn, with eerie noises that sound like something ripped right from a 1950s B-horror or sci-fi movie, excluding cheesy narration, and an incredible array of variations in frequency and time. Scientists believe that the waves are closely linked to the auroras near the planet's poles, and that their rising and falling tones are similar to Earth's own auroral radio emissions. Number 5. Mysterious bursts. In February of 2015, the Parkes Radio Telescope in Australia detected some fast radio bursts, FRB, that have fascinated astronomers ever since. Dubbed cosmic whistles, an FRB is a quick flash of energy seen as split-second intergalactic radio wave blips. FRB 150215, however, seems to be different from previously recorded bursts. FRB 150215, even more intriguing, is that it doesn't seem to leave any signal or trace of light behind. The Parkes researchers used 11 telescopes in an attempt to spot radio, optical, X-ray, gamma ray, and neutrino emission from these signals, but none were found. Neither transient nor variable emission was found to be associated with the burst, and no repeat pulses have been observed in 17.25 hours of observing. The researchers report in a new study, which has yet to be peer-reviewed. How could such high-energy bursts not leave any traces? As if that wasn't mysterious enough, consider that in order for FRB 150215 to have been detected at all, it had to go through a rather dense region of the Milky Way. This means that it shouldn't have been detectable in the first place. Number 4. Desperate plea from a phantom cosmonaut. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, brothers Achille and Giangiudica Cordiglia believed that they intercepted transmissions from Sputnik 1 and Explorer 1. Their most famous recording was that of a desperate phantom cosmonaut, whose transmission in May 1961 indicated that her craft was beginning to combust around her. Here is a transcript of what the woman is thought to be saying.
Come in. Come in. Come in. Listen. Come in. Talk to me. I'm hot. I'm hot. Come in. What? 45? What? 50? Yes. Yes. Breathing. Oxygen. I am hot. Isn't this dangerous? Transmission begins now. 41. Yes, I feel hot. It's all hot. I can see a flame. 32. Am I going to crash? Yes, I feel hot. I am listening. I feel hot. I will re-enter. I'm hot.
Other recordings include what sounds like an SOS signal on November 1960 and possible gasping of a suffocating cosmonaut in February 1961. Many have cast doubt that these voices belong to Russian personnel, as the voices don't follow transmission protocol, and the astronauts who allegedly died were apparently only technicians and trainees involved in the development and operation of space hardware. The desperate female voice captured in the Giudica Cordiglia brothers' famous recording remains unidentified. Number 3. Radio source SHG-B02 plus 14A. Another space enigma, radio source SHG-B02 plus 14A is notable for the mystery behind what caused this strange signal, and for having an overly complicated name that most people can barely say off the top of their heads, let alone remember. The signal was detected between Pisces and Aries constellations, without any nearby stars in the vicinity. Its frequency is around 1420 megahertz, a principal frequency that hydrogen readily absorbs and emits energy. Some scientists have theorized that it's a frequency that aliens may use. Unfortunately, it's been dismissed by scientists as a potential extraterrestrial transmission, and its origins remain unidentified. Number 2. The Singing Comet. The Rosetta mission to 67P and Churyumov-Gerasimenko is a landmark moment in space exploration, as it marks the first time ever a probe had been landed on a comet. Having traveled 6.4 billion kilometers since its launch in March 2004, the spacecraft finally made it to its destination at Comet 67P in August 2014. However, as the Rosetta spacecraft came to within 100 kilometers of 67P, it recorded a strange song emanating from the comet's surface. So is this mysterious drilling or clicking some form of alien communication? Some ufologists and conspiracy theorists not only believe this to be the case, but also argue that 67P is not a comet at all, but a spacecraft. Of course, this argument has not received wide acceptance. Scientists instead believe that the sounds are oscillations in the magnetic field around the comet, possibly as a result of releasing neutral particles into space, causing them to become electrically charged through ionization. However, further research is required to validate this theory, and for now, the cause of this strange sound remains unknown. Number 1. Cosmic Booms. In 2006, a balloon-borne instrument known as Absolute Radiometer for Cosmology, Astrophysics, and Diffuse Emission, or ARCADE, was launched from NASA's Columbia Scientific Balloon Facility in Palestine, Texas. It proceeded to fly upwards towards an altitude of 120,000 feet to measure heating of the universe by first-generation stars. In 2009, researchers reported that ARCADE had detected radio signals booming noise 6 times louder than any researcher had expected. Scientists ruled out primordial stars and gas in the outermost halo of our own galaxy as a possible source for the booming, leaving the cause and origins of these mysterious signals a mystery. What is your opinion about all these? Have you ever witnessed any unknown signals from space? We would be glad to hear about your experience in the comment section below the video. Remember to click subscribe to be among the smart and sexy.